and welcome to a conversation on personalized marketing. In today's program, we're going to show you ways that you can personalize the marketing communication that you send to prospective customers to really create a sense in your audience that you are speaking directly to them. What we know is when they feel valued, they're more likely to buy from you. My name is Lorraine Ball, and I'm going to be your facilitator today. I own a company called Roundpeg, and every day we work with businesses all over the country, helping them create more personalized marketing messages and build their community. So let's get started. What we know about personalization and relationship marketing is that 52% of consumers are likely to switch brands or ignore your messages if communications being sent to them aren't personalized. We know that personalized emails receive about an 11% higher open rate and more than 27% more clicks. So what does that mean? If you have an email list of 1,000 names, that's an extra 100 people who might open your email. You do the math. The more personalized, the more interaction you're going to get from your audience. And we know that contacts that receive personalized messages are more likely to spend more money and to tell more people about you. So today we're going to talk about what it means to personalize your email, how to add some simple personalization, and really use what you know about your customers. In the course of today's program, I'm going to do a demonstration of the email personalization features of Constant Contact. I think this is a great tool, and it gives you a really good idea of the things that you can do very easily to improve the quality of your communication. So, as a small business, you have personal relationships with your clients. You talk to them, you interact with them on a regular basis. And when they get an email from you, what you want to do is sort of extend that very personal feeling. You want to get rid of this idea of the email blast. Wherever possible, you want to stop thinking about pushing messages at everybody with a one-size-fits-all and really creating more tailored, more personal messages. Even if they're going to a group of people, I should feel when I open that email that this was a message that was just for me. How do you do that? You do that by making the tone of your email communication more conversational. It's time to let go of those stuffy corporate emails. When I first started my business, I had just come out of corporate. And every now and then I go back and I read those emails and I think, oh my God, they read like corporate memos. Nobody wants to read that. Bring a more conversational and a more human tone to your marketing. Use words like you and your. Take some time and really read the content that you're creating. Do you say things like our clients or small business owners, or do you say things like you? Customers like you, families like yours. Do you say things that make you feel like you're talking about me or to me? And finally, the real key is to deliver timely and relevant emails. Get something into my inbox when I need it most, and I'm more likely to interact and respond. And why do this? Because of the results. You're more likely to sell more. You will build better relationships with your community. You are going to improve the customer experience. Instead of sending 1,000 people email about 3 different products, you divide that list into 3 different groups. People who are interested in one product or another, and you only send them messages about what they're really interested in. And over time, you will drive more repeat business. So, what is personalization? It's really about delivering messages about what an individual or a group of people want and when they actually want to have it. These days, we're busy, we're on the go, and so you want to get your information in my hands when I'm most likely to buy or be interested. It is about the right information at the right time. It's not about stalking your audience and sending them messages all the time. It's really about featuring the most relevant products, services, or information, and it is about delivering it at exactly the right time. So, as you're thinking of personalization, the very first thing you really should think about is a name. Dale Carnegie once said that a person's name is to that person the sweetest and most important sound in any language. And so when you can add a simple personalization detail like someone's name to the subject line or the greeting in their email, you're going to catch their attention. As I'm scanning down my inbox, if I see my name in a subject line, I'm going to open that email first. So let's take a look at how you might personalize an email campaign. First place, think about the subject line. Instead of, is your website efficient? Nicole, is your website efficient? The second place that you can personalize is actually with a greeting. Hello, Nicole, rather than hello, reader. And the next level of personalization is when you really add a fact that is more specifically relevant to that customer, something that's a little bit unique to that. In the body text, using custom fields, your website's last update was 5/24/2015. So, think about as you're adding people to your email list, what do you know? This is where we always focus. First name, last name, email. But do you know a little bit more? And for example, for a heating and air conditioning contractor that we were working with, they sold service agreements. And every month they wanted to send out renewal reminders. And so in addition to uploading just first and last names, we added renewal dates and service contracts. Let's take a look at a live demo to show you how we put this information that we have into a constant contact email. So we're going to switch over to the live demo. And the first thing we want to do is we want to add new contacts. So we're going to upload from a spreadsheet. It's just going to take a minute for it to decide that I really do want to do this. And it takes me to the upload screen. I can click a button and grab. There's my data for my demonstration today. I upload the file and it recognizes the first, the last, and the email address, but it's like, well, what are these? And so I can tell it, look, this is an anniversary. And this is actually a new field. So I want to create a new custom field, and it's a text field, and I'm going to say service agreement. I create it. It'll take a moment for it to There we go. And now I continue. I'm going to put them in my demo list and upload the contacts. And now I'm ready to start working on my email. While that's working on it, let's hop over here and we're going to look at an email that I already have in draft and I'm getting ready to edit. I showed you that you can personalize the email in the subject line. And so the first thing I'm going to do is click here where I work on my service line. And instead of simply saying it's time to renew your service contract, I'm going to add this personalized button. What do I want to do? First name. And then secondary text. What if you don't have the person's first name? Well, in this case, if I don't have a first name, I just want to leave it blank. I'm going to insert it, and there it is. I see the field that says first name. It's time to renew your service contract. Okay, save. Now I want to start thinking about customizing the body of my email. I want to put a simple greeting with the person's name. I can insert a greeting tag. Hello and their first name. It even has the little comma in place. I prefer the word hi. And greetings is okay. I'm going to leave it for now because that works for me. So there it is. Hi, first name. A year ago, you invited us into your home. This was for a heating and air conditioning company. We appreciate the trust you placed in us by purchasing A, and this is where I want to put the service contact. So, contact details, and all I have to do is I have to find, there it is, the service agreement. Now, if I, for some reason, have uploaded a record and I haven't put whether it's a furnace or an air conditioner, I'm simply going to say service contract, and I insert. There's my period. The contract will expire. I have an anniversary date. So I just scroll down until I find anniversary. If the information isn't available, I want the word soon to appear. And there's a period. Now's a great time. And now I'm ready to send it almost. I like to check and preview my email. Well, I want to check for errors. And one of the things that it says is, hey, you're missing a link. So I want to make sure that I add the link. And for right now, I'm just going to put my web address and insert. And now I'm ready to preview and test. And so now it shows me, there it is, hi Lorraine. And so I now can see it's putting in the service contract. Contract will expire soon. And that's test data because it's not pulling from the database. I can schedule the email, and then when it arrives, you can see it says, hello, Lorraine, furnace service agreement. So it pulled the right information and the date that it expires. So hopefully you can see how all sorts of unique customizing information can be placed, and it all starts with that very simple spreadsheet and these fields. Last week, we talked about a web design, a new puppy, whatever it was, you can put this field here and build that into your email. So this is kind of that first level of personalization. But everyone is different. People have different lifestyles, different interests, and even if they use your products and services, they may be weekend warriors, serious enthusiasts, people who exercise regularly. So they are going to be different in terms of what they're interested in. The first person might really want to know promotions and specials because they're thinking about buying a new bike. The second person, the hardcore enthusiast, wants to join your cycling club. And these folks just want to know about what's going on in the city and what's going on with you as an organization. And so in order to deliver these kind of custom messages, you need to start thinking about segmenting your audience, breaking them into smaller groups. And there are different ways to segment. You can think about demographics, which really looks at the external measurable features of a person or a group: age, family status, income. You can think about where they're located. If your business really only serves certain communities, dividing your market into geographic segments makes sense. And you can segment by behavior, whether they've purchased before or how they interact with your emails and your messages. Again, on the consumer side, you look at the characteristics that are outwardly measurable: age, income, family status, lifestyle. And I always encourage people to put a face on it. If you're targeting middle-aged women versus young mothers, there are two very different faces. If your product is really more ideally suited for young, white-collar college students or working class men, put a face on it. These particular images I pulled from a program that I do on segmentation, where we really look at bars of soap. I mean, soap is a pretty generic product. You put water on it, you wash your hands, but these four people use very different products. The woman on the left is likely to buy oil of Olay or Camay. The young mother is probably going to buy Ivory. That young man is probably going to buy Axe, and the older working class gentleman is a good candidate for Lava soap. And so for each of these different people, putting a face on it helps you construct relevant messages that really hit home with that particular target customer. And don't stop thinking about demographics when you switch from a consumer to a B2B market. You can still look at demographic characteristics like the age of the company, the industry that that company is in, how big it is, or what their business objectives are. Are they thinking about growth, or are they focused more on process improvement? Are they focused on increasing profitability, which may or may not necessarily tie directly to growth? Understanding where the company that you're calling on is focused will again help you create more relevant messages. But before we leave this subject of demographics and segmenting, I want to drive home a point, and that is that sometimes two things that look exactly the same on the surface aren't. Take, for example, these two twin brothers. The twin on the left has been married to his high school sweetheart for 40 years. The twin on the right is newly married to his second wife. They're both college educated and they have good jobs. So again, on the surface, economically, education, even marital status, they look the same. But the guy on the left with his wife of 40 years is at a place where his kids are grown and they're thinking about downsizing, getting a smaller house, spending more time traveling, buying that cute little two-seater sports car. The guy on the right has just been told by his new second wife that she's pregnant. He's thinking about getting a minivan. Vacations are going to be a lot of weekends in Disney, and they're thinking about getting a larger home in the suburbs. And so when you start segmenting your market, you want to go beyond just the observable numbers. You want to look at lifestyle, usage habit, attitudes towards your product. Think about segmenting your customers into groups like frequent shoppers or occasional purchasers. Thinking about the buying cycle and how they interact with your product. And think about segmenting them based on things they tell you they're interested in. For example, you can create emails where you actually give your readers a chance to say, what are you interested in? The nice thing is that using something called click segmentation, and I'll show you how that works in a moment, you can invite people to select a particular yoga class. When they click on it, it'll take them to a page, but it will also add them specifically to the individual groups. Now you can send announcements, and if I'm only interested in vinyasa, I'm not going to get a lot of emails that I ignore because they're about Bikram or Hatha yoga. Sounds silly, but the truth is, if I start getting too many emails from you, I may ignore the announcement of the vinyasa class that I really am interested in. You can give people an opportunity to manually update their profile, and they can pick and choose which classes they're in. The registration page lets them decide where they want to be. And this information, the first name and birthday, gives you the tools you need to send them a birthday coupon or a personalized greeting on their next email. And so here you go. You've got kind of this generic message. Down here at the bottom, you can remind people, you can send them an email that says, hey, we want to know more about what you're interested in. Click that link down at the bottom that says update your profile. This link here is directly connected to the user account of whoever you send the email to. And so every now and then, putting a little bit of a reminder in the email works really well. You can also use surveys to learn more about what people are interested in. Run the survey and then adjust your groups and rhythm. Again, once a month volunteers, weekly and daily. Don't be afraid to create groups for each of these segments. All right, I talked about click segmentation. If you want to find people who are really interested in something, put it in an email. Here's a whole bunch of email. Find out more. Not everyone is going to click this button, but the people that do, when you are building the email and you put that link URL in there, you can enable click segmentation, and you can set it up so that every time somebody chooses that option, they are automatically put on this new list. What happens is that they click, they get driven to a page where there's more information, and you start building this new list behind the scenes where that contact is automatically added to that group. It's really easy. The other thing that you can do is create segments based on how people have interacted with your message. Maybe you want to select people who have clicked any of your last emails. Maybe it's only relevant for people who are in a particular list, or you can add multiple lists. This is a really nice way to pull people from a number of different segments. You can select people who have clicked or who haven't clicked. People, I do this a lot. I look for people who have not opened up any of my emails recently, and I'll send them an email that says, hey, are you still interested? And now you can then create a segment, and you see contacts that did not open any of your recent emails, and you can review the list and make sure that the right people are on it. And when you're ready to send an email, instead of sending it to a specific list, you can actually send it to just a specific segment. And you can use this information to send personalized messaging to lists or to specific segments. You can use it to send auto response campaigns. Maybe you invite someone to sign up, and now once they've signed up, join our next meetup and join the cycling club. So now you've got someone who's kind of interested, and you keep communicating with them. You don't send this message to everyone, because that'll just be annoying. And you can use it to make them feel special. You can create birthday emails. Again, it's tied to, you can pull just people who have certain information, or you can create emails that remind them to renew their membership, just like I did with the service contract in my demo a moment ago. Okay, let's take another look really quick at Constant Contact and this same email and how that click segmentation will work. This Renew Now button, I want to insert a link, edit it, and here it is. There's where it goes, enable click segmentation, and it will pull up in a moment a list of all of my different lists. When it does, I can select which list do I want to put them on. In this case, the general list, or maybe the May DNO. I can insert, and now when people get this email and they click on that button, they'll automatically be added to that list. I can set it up so that there is an auto response campaign that automatically starts as soon as they get added to the list. So for example, if I had done this not for renewing a service contract, but in my own business, where I offered you a chance to join the email marketing boot camp, which is a 5-day class, if you said, yes, sign me up, you would get delivered to a landing page with information, but in the background, you'd already be enrolled, and you'd start getting the emails once a day for 5 days with the information on our boot camp. Okay, one other thing I wanted to show you was the segmentation opportunity. So here, I wanted to create a segment. I can either select a segment, I've created a segment, or I can create a new segment. And so what I want to do now is I'm going to just show you very quickly exactly in that demo. There's segments right next to contacts. I can create a segment. I can pick people who opened, did not open, did not click. I want people who did not open any of my last 5 emails a specific email. I want people who did not open the Day of Digital Round 2. They can be on the webinar list, or I sent it to the seminar list also, and I don't really care about contact details. So now I can save and preview, and it'll take a minute, it'll pull them, and now when I'm ready to send an email, while that's working, I'm going to show you on a campaign. They're the people. There are 1,000 people who got that email who didn't open it. And so now I can decide if I want to send them another email. I can refresh. I can add them to a list. I can copy them. I can export it to an Excel spreadsheet. I can also do the opposite. I can select people who did open. Now, what's the power in that? If I pull a list of people who opened, again, that same email, now I know these are people who were somewhat interested. This is going to be a smaller list, and maybe I can decide I want to pick up the telephone and call these people. So the segmenting tool is powerful from the perspective of now delivering custom messages, but it also becomes a great extension of your sales and marketing. Okay, so let's kind of recap today's program. When you use segmentation, you want to start with the contact's name. Go back and start looking at your database. You don't have to collect a lot of information, but I think you see that adding a contact's name is going to make your emails much more impactful. You want to start segmenting people by what they're interested in and by their demographics, and you want to be sending more personalized content. You can get more personal with email. If you are not currently using Constant Contact and you've been intrigued by some of the features that I showed you today, I'd love to help you get started. You can sign up for a free trial. This link will also be available in the program show notes. And if you have other questions, please be sure to reach out to Roundpeg. And don't forget to look for more training at roundpeg.biz/training. Thanks again for joining us today.